Somebody goes into business and in the first 5 minutes, they've forgotten what it's like to be a customer. Here's how you do this. Start by eliminating who's not your target audience. My slogan is, got customers? Have you ever heard the phrase, in order to be a hunter, you have to think like an animal? Have you ever heard the phrase, in order to catch a thief, you have to what?
Think like a thief.
Okay, now if those two things are true, in order to catch a customer, what do you have to think like?
A customer.
That's all you need to know. You can all leave. The problem is when you go into business, something happens to people. And I don't know whether it happens on the first 15 seconds or it takes a while, but I've seen over and over and over again, somebody goes into business and in the first 5 minutes, they've forgotten what it's like to be a customer. Marketing is the ability to get and retain customers. So the first thing you have to do is you have to think like a customer. So that shouldn't be that hard because guess what? You are all customers. You're just not customers for your own product, but for everything you're wearing, for the car you drove to get here, the house you live in, every single thing you do in your life, you're a customer. If any of you know physics, physics is pretty simple. Physics works the same for tall people and short people and fat people and rich people. You take something, an object, and on Earth, where there's such a thing called gravity, if you drop it, what happens? It falls. It doesn't matter if you're in the service business or in the product business, the same thing's going to happen. Same thing with marketing. All these principles that I'm going to talk about are the same with slight little tweaks, which I'm going to get into if we get far enough. Where does sales happen? Who said in your mind? No. See, I tricked you. I didn't say where does marketing happen. I said where does sales happen? Where does sales happen? Everywhere. It happens in the street, it happens on the internet, it happens in stores, it happens in physical space that you can see, you can touch, you can count it. People come in, you can count how many customers you have, you can count your revenues. Marketing happens somewhere else. Marketing happens in people's head. The thing I have to start with is understanding that if I have a product, very soon you will put it somewhere in your head. And it's very difficult to get where someone has, doesn't matter where you have this in your head, it's very difficult for somebody outside of your head to change it. You've heard a lot of companies say, Nissan, when I used to work with Nissan for 10 years, and they used to always say, we have a perception problem. Now I'm going to translate that. What does that mean? What did they really mean when they said that? Here's what they meant. People are stupid. It's not that people are stupid, it's just because they didn't do a good job of putting them where they want you to be. Toyota, for years and years and years, if you looked on this axis, you'd say, you know, Mercedes is up here, Toyota's down here somewhere, right? They wanted to introduce an expensive car. Do you think they could come out with a $40,000 car and call it a Toyota and put it up here competing with Lexus, with Mercedes? Of course not. So they had to create a whole new brand, which they did. It's called Lexus. So it's easy to put a new thing into your head. And if you do it right and spend the right amount of money and do it carefully, you can put a new product just where you want it to be. It takes skill. But the skill of a marketer is to put a new product exactly where you want it to be in every one of your mind, not everyone, just the target audience. It's much easier to do that than it is to take somebody's opinion of something that's down here and move it up. Almost impossible. I've distilled everything that I ever read about marketing, everything that I ever learned from Steve Jobs and other smart people down into the simplest, most concise, most relevant 5 things. Start at the end. I'm going to ask you when we talk about websites, what's the purpose of your website? And I'm going to ask you to think about it the way I'm thinking about this. What is the purpose of sailing in a sailboat race?
To win.
To win, exactly. These are the 5 things you need to do to win in business, in the same way that these are the 3 things you need to win in sailboat racing. These are the 5 things you need to do to win, to succeed, to prosper, make money in business.